Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, April 16, 2019. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Another EU-funded polyclinic was opened yesterday in Bookament. The new health facility adds to the modernization of SVG's health sector. Larissa Pogsley tells us more in this report.
A modern health facility was opened on Monday in the Bookament community. The $4.4 million EC Polyclinic was funded by the European Union and the government of SVG. At yesterday's opening ceremony, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said the operation of the Polyclinic has also created employment opportunities for a number of persons.
The health sector in this country is an industry. We employ 1,102 persons in the health sector in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. On Friday, well, Luke was on my case on Thursday to make sure that all the posts for the polyclinic, the 3 polyclinics, well, Stubbs had, but for both Mespo and this one, and Mespo had some hangover from the Levi Latham Health Center, and I release all the positions for which is in this book for the polyclinic.
The Bookament Polyclinic is the second polyclinic after the Mariokwa Polyclinic to be opened this month, both funded by the European Union. Representative of EU Jose Legara said the clinic has been fitted to provide quality healthcare services similarly to that of the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital.
The 15,000 souls of the Bookament community are already benefiting for a better access to quality services comparable to those of Kingston at a cost of $4.5 million Eastern Caribbean dollars. This polyclinic is providing emergency, inpatient, primary and specialty care that were so far only available at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, by the way, recently reopened by the European Union support. Combined with the Mesopotamia Polyclinic European support as well, St. Vincent and the Grenadines can boast of the real spread of healthcare services from west to east and from north to south.
The polyclinic adds to the services provided by a smaller clinic in Bookament. It will have an ambulance and vehicle stationed on site, and according to Minister of Health Luke Brown, the expansion of its services is expected to improve overall health care for residents and those of surrounding communities.
Health care is a geographical barriers. One set of barriers are geographical. So by bringing this closer to you, it is going to be more likely for you to be able to access the services at this facility. One of the barriers that you might also confront is the barrier related to how comprehensive the services provided at a healthcare facility near you are. And to help you overcome that barrier, we are going to make sure that this clinic is true to its name, the name Polyclinic, by offering a wide range of services from which you can benefit.
The polyclinic was constructed by Franco Construction Limited and was designed by Timothy Douglas of the Ministry of Transport and Works. On July 14, 2011, the EU and the government of SVG signed the financing agreement for the implementation of the 10th EDF for the modernization of SVG's health sector. Its overall objective is to improve the delivery of healthcare services to Vincentians. Reporting SVG-TV News, Larissa Pogsley.
Meanwhile, a $2.2 million nurses' quarters was opened over the weekend in Union Island. The nurses' quarters has 5-bedroom apartments, including a doctor's lounge. Minister of Health Luke Brown said it is only fitting that nurses and doctors are properly accommodated.
Had to go on vacation, and a pharmacist as a temporary replacement had to come down here. That pharmacist would have been deprived of accommodation if it wasn't for this Union Island staff quarters. Brother Snag made the point that currently the district medical officer, who he knows very well, is from Union Island and therefore has no need to avail herself of the use of these quarters. But in the event that there is a falling out at home, she could pack up she bag and say she has somewhere to stay. And in the event that we have a DMO who may not be from Union Island, or she may need to go on vacation and somebody comes as a temporary replacement, there is something here to accommodate that person.
The quarters was funded by the European Union with an additional $400,000 EC provided by the government of SVG. The EU's representative, Jose Ligara, noted the importance of having such facility for healthcare professionals.
By the expansion of the scope of healthcare presence to areas such as Union Island, the decentralization of health services is achieved with the added value of this installation. The ongoing 11th European Development Fund is already on the go, this time with around €6 million contribution from the European Union taxpayers. The priority sector chosen has been the road maintenance. Some activities have already started, and believe it or not, they are strictly related to this previous health sector choice, taking into account the figures of the road accidents and subsequent health services provided. We are together tackling one of the sources of mortality in this country.
Director of Grenadines Affairs Edwin Snack said that people of Union Island are now in a better position to access better healthcare service.
That once we have facilities, we must have them in use, otherwise it defeats the purpose of their construction. And I'm looking behind on the side here now, and you would notice, you would see an ambulance. This is a new service that is now being introduced to Union Island. We now have an ambulance service.
The opposition New Democratic Party is now a member of the International Democrats Union, the IDU. A news release issued today said the party's application for membership was reviewed by the IDU's executive board, and a presentation was made on behalf of the party by Nick Francis, who currently serves as advisor to the NDP's Young Democrats and Secretary General of the Caribbean Democrats Union, CDU. Leader of the NDP, Dr. Godwin Friday, expressed gratitude to the IDU board for accepting the party's application and said he looks forward to full participation and contribution in future IDU-related activities. The IDU is the leading global alliance of center-right political parties and works to provide individuals throughout the world with the best conditions for political liberty, personal freedom, equality of opportunity, and economic development under the rule of law. Vincentians will be given the opportunity to learn more about the Dugu, a sacred Garifuna spiritual ceremony which symbolizes healing across generations through the play Mali, put on by the SVG Garifuna Heritage Foundation. The play will be on showcase at the Peace Memorial Hall on the 4th and 5th of May and will tell the story of a family which faced generational challenges. Speaking at a news conference today at the Alliance Francaise, director of the play, David Daki Williams, said original music will be one key feature of the play, written by Zoila Ellis Brown.
Utilizes a lot of music, poetry, some dance, and of course dialogue, which carries the story. And all of the music and the poetry and everything like that is original. And I think that is another important feature about this production. It is not very often that you get productions in St. Vincent that features original music. All the lyrics of this production that you will hear was composed by the writer, and the melodies and rhythms were created by the Resistance Heartbeat drummers who would be accompanying us musically, and melodies were created by Mr. Ronald Brown.
Williams said careful consideration was given to ensure that an authentic representation of the Dugu ceremony was incorporated in the play, which highlights elements of the spiritual Baptist traditions without disrespecting their religion.
Anybody to leave Peace Memorial Hall on any of those 2 nights with the impression that a mockery is being committed here. I want people to feel comfortable that they are seeing a piece of art that is created around a particular practice. And I am guided by some of the things I've seen in the past, especially concerning the spiritual Baptists. I've seen videos being shot and people presenting Baptists as people who are drunkards, walking spirit. You know, I've seen that, and it turned me off. So I don't think I could come back and make the same mistake as a director in presenting that kind of image. That might be very entertaining for some people in the audience, but how much representation of the facts is presented there? We have to make sure that we properly represent those facts about the process without getting people too deeply into the body of what is happening there. And you will get that from Mali.
Williams said the Dogo centers around family and healing and highlighted the many ways the family presented in the play finds healing.
Of a process of healing within the family, and that healing could be from physical sickness, mental sickness, or just maybe ongoing discord within the family, and people think it is okay to organize a dugu, then that will take place. And because Mali is actually a part of the dugu, is actually a segment in the dugu, and like I said earlier, that's where the play gets its name from. And the conclusion, if I may say that, if I may let that out a little bit, the conclusion of the play shows healing for the particular family, right? Healing of rifts, healing of physical sickness, and that sort of thing. And of course, the music, the selection of music, the mood of the music in this presentation.
The Ministry of Education today launched the National Science Quiz at the Curriculum Development Unit. The inaugural Science Quiz, which is a collaboration with Facey Trading SVG Limited, will target Form 2 students from secondary schools across SVG. The Science Quiz will be divided into 5 zones. The preliminary stage will run from April 23rd to April 29th, with the finals scheduled to take place on May 13th at the Guides Hut Conference Room. Given an overview of the Science Quiz, Education Officer for Science Juanita Hunt King said the quiz would be judged in 3 categories: oral, science challenge, and fast answers.
To support their teams. The quiz will be divided into 3 rounds. We have the oral questioning round, which will be composed of a science grid, where students will select questions from the game board and have a limited time to confer and respond. The science challenge round, which I'm very excited about, is a round where the teams will showcase their practical skills. They will work together to execute science-related challenges. For example, can you make an object move from point A to point B without using your hands? Then we have the 3rd round, which will be the fast answer round, where students will answer simple questions as quickly as they can to amass points for their team. I know that this will be an exciting competition, and it is very fitting for this time in SVG, where scientifically related issues are so topical.
General Manager of Facey Trading SVG Limited, Harry Gibson, said the company is happy to collaborate with the Ministry of Education to host the Science Quiz.
The children need help, and science is, as our MC said, it's a focal point right now, and we want to be there with them. And we approached our manufacturer of America Fresh detergent, which is probably one of the more recent additions to the laundry detergent category in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which has been well received because America Fresh is safe for the environment. It has no phosphates. It wouldn't damage the reefs with the runoff into the oceans and all that. And we thought that that being a scientific plus would also be a good product to marry with the science quiz. And I approached the manufacturers of America Fresh, and they jumped at it immediately. They said, yes, we want to help, we want to be there. And it's an exciting time. It's the first time for a quiz like this, I understand, and it won't be the last. And I'm excited to see how the competition will be. I am expecting some really tough competition. I see you have a very packed agenda, so I know that it's going to be ball-by-ball commentary we're looking for, and looking for the 13th of May for the finals, so that is going to be great.
Senior Education Officer Aldia Gums-Dyer expressed gratitude to Facey Trading SVG Limited and other stakeholders, whom she said continue to support the development of the nation's children.
That confront our society. It is against this background that I express on behalf of the Ministry of Education, Reconciliation and Information sincerest gratitude for the support extended to those who will partner with us in executing our mandate. That is, to provide high-quality education for a world that is constantly evolving. To the individuals who have committed to serve on the panel of judges and the organizations that have agreed to grant the necessary time off, I say a heartfelt thank you. To Ms. Natasha Peters, who made the initial contact, I want to say thank you for choosing us. And to Mr. Gibson and his team at Facey Trading, I commend you for opening your minds to embrace this new venture that is indeed intended to inspire and to motivate our students.
Another appeal has been made for persons to adhere to the ban on sea turtles and play an active role in protecting these unique sea creatures. The latest appeal came from Data Collections Officer in the Ministry of Forestry and Fisheries, Jeff Lavier, as members of the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority today paid a visit to the Big Sand Beach in Sandy Bay to learn more about this endangered species. SVG's Bavin Oliver was among those in the field today and files this report.
Sand Beach in Sandy Bay is a well-known nesting area for various species of turtle, such as the hawksbill and the leatherback. And with the ban on the catching of these creatures, they are expected to thrive more. However, some persons continue to ignore the law by still catching these turtles for consumption or sale. On the front lines protecting these creatures is Jeff Lavier, a data collections officer with the Fisheries Department, who is charged with monitoring the activities of the turtles on the beach. He said while the law clearly speaks against the catching of turtles, some persons are caught up in tradition and continue to carry out the illegal activity.
People are still, especially right here, I'm being honest to myself, even right here in Sandy Bay, a lot of people have desire, especially the young men, young people. They have desire and they look at it as tradition, where the older folks back in time used to came and they kill the turtles and everybody eat and enjoy and they will share it, you know, and then the younger generation today want to take up that strength. And it is painful.
Lavier took the opportunity to highlight the destruction caused by the poaching activities.
They go in the bush, they will cut a piece of stick, spare the point, and they will push it down and seek, and when it comes up now, and they saw it wet, they will start to dig. And the effect of that also, that will cause damages to the other eggs. Or it could cause spoilage, and if they don't find them, this can cause spoilage of the other eggs when they're ready to hatch out. So it is not something that people should really come on the bay and practice.
The data collection officer said even with some setback, there is some good news, noting that last year, more hatchlings were able to safely leave their nest and venture out to sea.
The peak of the season is really May, where we had a lot of leatherbacks, will comes in, and May, June. And from July, August, right down to September, we had a lot of oxbill. Where we had on record last year, the oxbill, not last year, 2016, where the oxbill overrun the leatherbacks, because we had more oxbill than leatherbacks in 2016. So we improve, and not even that, but I've seen a lot of hatchling for 2018. A lot of hatchling came out, and the nest was well protective, and it was a successful 2018.
Meanwhile, representative from the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority, Nyasha Child, gave a stern warning to those who continue to hunt turtles and their eggs.
Very first, 2017, the government implemented a total ban on sea turtles. And we're also asking persons to remember that the ban exists and to desist from harvesting the eggs, from disturbing the nest and harming the turtles. If you do not adhere to this ban and you're caught, you can be fined up to $5,000.
For SVG-TV Evening News, I am Bavin Oliver.
Police have arrested and charged Robinson Osonko, a 32-year-old medical student of Kane Hall and Nigeria, for assaulting a 62-year-old businessman of Arnesville. The police say the medical student reportedly beat the businessman about his body with his hands for, without lawful excuse, damaged the black-blue cellular phone value at 1,000 EC dollars by smashing it on the ground, and for unlawfully entering the business premises of the businessman with intent to annoy him. The incident occurred about 7:30 p.m. on February 23rd. Osonko is expected to appear before court to answer the charges. The police have also arrested and charged Winfield Sam, a 35-year-old laborer of Gittels, for knowing and believing Energy Club AP1000 generator to be stolen goods, did honestly receive same for his own benefit at Sandy Bay about 1:45 p.m. on April 12th. Sam is expected to appear before the court to answer the charge.